அதிகாரம் பொறுப்பில்லாமல் இருக்கக்கூடாது, அப்பொழுதுதான் அது ஆபத்தானதாக மாறுகின்றது. Power should never be untied from accountable responsibility. If it is done so, then that is the most dangerous thing that will happen on the earth. Tamil Nadu has been suffering a lot, pleading the union government to release the finance for all the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, for Manrega, and the union government is turning a deaf ear to all the requests. These are national priorities, there is no doubt about it. But nowhere in the bill, not in a single line is there any mention of a utilization framework, spending formula, transparency mechanism, a commitment to share with the states. In your own BJP-ruled Odisha, the government has demanded that the cess and surcharges be brought to divisible pool. It is totally against that in your own government ruling Odisha. This government's favorite economic formula has three components: headline plus chess plus no accountability. We saw this with Swachh Bharat cess, Krishi Kalyan cess, health and education cess, road and infrastructure cess, social welfare surcharge, and now this bill. So I repeat, this is cessification of governance, not justification. Thank you, sir. I rise here to oppose the Health Security, National Security Cess Bill 2025. At the very outset, sir, I would like to ask Madam Finance Minister a very simple yet a profound question. Why is the title of an English legislation framed as Health Security, sir, National Security? Why is this linguistic hybrid, sir? Why this attempt to inject a certain cultural or a linguistic flavor into what should be a neutral statutory title? This is not mere pedantry, sir. As our Honorable Chief Minister, DMK Stalin has rightly pointed out, language is not merely a tool for communication. It's a question of identity, dignity, and democratic participation. So a law passed by the Parliament must be accessible, neutral, and linguistically equitable. So I submit, sir, that the word say be replaced with for. Sir, imposing any cess or surcharge is like slitting the throat of federalism. Why I use that phrase, sir? Let me explain. The funds collected through cess and surcharge goes entirely to the union government and without any distribution to the states. The union government, sir, eyes rupees 6 lakh crore from cess and surcharge in the financial year 26 up to 10% over the financial year 25. All the states, most of the states, protest against the shrinking share of this divisible pool of tax revenues not reaching them. The Health Security, National Security Cess Bill 2025 now seeks to levy a new cess on machines or process used in the manufacture of pan masala and other notified goods. Sir, I would like to ask in this August House through you, sir, when the union government can concentrate on the reduction of the sale of these harmful products, also creating an awareness amidst its consumers to reduce the use of such consumer products which are harmful to health, also creating an awareness amidst them. Instead of doing that, imposing a cess on the manufacturing machines and the processes directly hits the small traders, especially the MSME. Also, it's neither acceptable on the general terms as well as on the ethical terms. I would like to explain why I use the word ethical. So the quantum of unused cess and the surcharge funds amount to 6 lakh crore rupees since 2019. That is not totally spent by the union government. While that is the scenario, why to bring a new bill, again a cess bill now, sir? That's my question. So this bill states that the cess is meant to augment the resources for meeting security expenditure on national security and for public health. In simple terms, the government says that it will use proceeds from cess on tobacco and pan masala to boost health and national security. Sir, this is really a thing to worry about. Let's remember the words of our Mahatma Gandhi, who said, means are as important as ends. So which means you are collecting the cess and to which direction you are trying to divert the funds is a very important question. While the BJP professes that India is marching towards global leadership under the august leadership of our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, as Vishwaguru, based on the ideals of Dharma, isn't it very ironical to divert these funds, the cess, heavily laid on those manufacturing processes which are harmful for products? Isn't it really ironical, sir? Sir, let me come directly to the political heart of the bill. This government has been adopting a strategy for the past 10 years to convert taxation into cesses and surcharges because cesses do not go into the divisible pool and are not shared with the states. Sir, according to the 15th Finance Commission's report, let me make it clear here, the share of the cesses and surcharges has increased from 10.4% of gross tax revenue in 2011 to 12 to over 26% by 2024. This means states lose thousands of crores annually, and that is why I call it as a slitting on the throat of federalism, sir. Sir, our Dr. Annal B.R. Ambedkar warned us in the Constituent Assembly that federalism depends on the diffusion of power, not in its concentration in one center. But what's happening now, sir? It's a vice versa of it. Because this bill is another step in the systematic concentration of fiscal power, all concentrating only in the conglomeration of union government. So Tamil Nadu has consistently demanded through every pre-budget memorandum that the union reduce its reliance on cesses. But instead of correcting its fiscal imbalance, this bill deepens it. So let me say, how does it do it? This bill imposes a lump sum cess on machines and manufacturing processes, especially those used for pan masala. Let me be very clear, sir, pan masala and usage of it are harmful for health, very injurious for health, and states should take accountability in regulating that. There's no doubt about it. But the method chosen here through the bill is deeply flawed. And let me also say, why do I make that statement? Because, sir, there is a nuanced difference. The bill taxes machines for what they can produce, not what they actually produce. Even idle machines attract the same cess, and getting any reduction is complicated. This feels less like a tax, but more like an unnecessary burden. So I call it as cessification of governance, not justification of governance. I repeat, I call this as cessification of governance, not justification of governance. Because this government's favorite economic formula has three components: headline plus chess plus no accountability. We saw this with Swachh Bharat cess, Krishi Kalyan cess, health and education cess, road and infrastructure cess, social welfare surcharge, and now this bill. So I repeat, this is cessification of governance, not justification. And even Madam Finance Minister in most of her speeches repeatedly has acknowledged that cess revenues have risen sharply. And I would like the House to make a note of it also, sir. And again, our Dr. Ambedkar has warned us that good intentions are of no value if the instruments are flawed. This bill is precisely that, good intentions trapped to a flawed instrument. Sir, the first casualty of this bill is the MSME unit. It hits MSMEs the hardest. Tamil Nadu has under 10 lakh MSMEs, many in food processing, packaging and allied sectors, and they will be the worst affected sectors if this bill come into existence. So a government should tax its people with the delicacy of an expert hairdresser, not with the roughness or the power of a butcher. This bill unfortunately opts for the butcher's knife, sir. So there are another few worrisome observations. Here is power without judicial control. In this particular bill, it contains search, seizure, arrest powers, machine sealing, confiscation, and an entire inspection regime without adequate judicial safeguards. That has been rightly pointed out by our senior colleague Dada, that it will become an Inspector Raj. So Tamil Nadu already has first-hand experience of how easily enforcement powers can be misused We won't budge in, but it can be misused to intimidate small manufacturers. The bill hands sweeping discretionary powers to officers without sufficient checks, which is a matter of grave concern. Sir, the bill says assesses for the health security and national security. These are national priorities, there is no doubt about it. But nowhere in the bill, not in a single line, is there any mention of a utilization framework, spending formula, transparency mechanism, a commitment to share with the states. That is why we call this bill not to be actually brought into law immediately, and it has to be considered to be sent to the Select Committee. Sir, after the GST compensation ended in June 2022, states like Tamil Nadu have repeatedly sought predictable physical support, which has been denied. Let me remind the House, as per the CAG reports, nearly 1.45 lakh crore of various cess collections over the years remained unspent. If this government has not spent existing health and education cess funds, why should we trust a new one? Sir, we have to remember Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who told the Lok Sabha in 1957.
Your point well taken.
Sir, few minutes. I'm the only speaker, sir. Taxation must never become a substitute for planning or a cloak for unplanned ambition. This bill feels exactly like that. Sir, again, Clause 6 of the bill allows the centre to double the cess in special circumstances. I would like to know through you, from the Madam Finance Minister, what are those circumstances? Who defines them? Where is the sunset clause? Where is the parliamentary control? This is a taxation by executive discretion, not by democratic debate. Even the British did not allow the executive to tax without parliamentary control after 1689. But here we are in 2025, giving the union government a blank check to levy and raise taxes. Sir, I am so proud, under the leadership of our Chief Minister, Thalapathy MK Stalin, Tamil Nadu has been ranking high in all its health front. Tamil Nadu's infant mortality rate is 13 among the lowest in India. Institutional deliveries are 99% far above the national average. Tamil Nadu's public health expenditure is higher as a share of GSTB than most states. All this was achieved by our Chief Minister, not from the central cesses. It was purely because of his decentralized planning, his Dravidian model government based on the social justice policies and strong state autonomy. So true national progress is possible only when the union respects the rights of the states and works with them as equals, not as their subordinates. Sir, one important criticism raised by Aravind Banagria, the chairman of the 16th Finance Commission, I would like to make a notice of that in this August House. He recently called the issue of the centre's increasing reliance on cesses and charges a complicated issue. Also, a conclave of finance ministers in the context of the 16th Finance Commission have expressed concern over the growing imbalances in center-state fiscal relations. They plead the union governments to stop penalizing those states which perform well. A very important reminder to Madam Honorable Finance Minister is that in your own BJP-ruled Odisha, the government has demanded that the cess and surcharges be brought to divisible pool. It is totally against that in your own government ruling Odisha. So that states can get a share. Sir, I hope that the union government at least realize that when it is coming from their own quarters, it is a wake-up call. So only one minute. So a few questions. Why a cess and not a tax? Why no statutory rule for utilization? How much of the cess will actually reach health infrastructure? Why no state representation in monitoring? Why empower officers with near police powers without judicial oversight? Why tax machine capacity instead of actual production? How much revenue does the union expect to generate annually? How will this cess interact with GST regime principles? Sir, a few suggestions, sir, 2 minutes. Sir, you should make it mandate that at least 60% of cess.
Just 1 minute.
Sir, 1 minute.
Closing, sir.
I'm closing, sir.
Just closing.
Sir, closing. 60% of cess proceeds be dealt to states with formula-based transparent allocations, replace lump sum capacity-based slabs with proportionate output-based taxation to protect MSMEs, introduce mandatory CAG auditor utilization reports to be tabled annually in Parliament, include a sunset clause requiring Parliament's approval in every 2 years. Sir, if the government accepts these amendments, Tamil Nadu is prepared to work constructively. Tamil Nadu has been suffering a lot pleading the union government to release the finance for all the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, for Manrega, and the union government is turning a deaf ear to all the requests, which is again a slit on the throat of federalism. I would like to end with the quote by Thandai Periyar, a quote by Thandai Periyar. அதிகாரம் பொறுப்பில்லாமல் இருக்கக்கூடாது, அப்பொழுதுதான் அது ஆபத்தானதாக மாறுகின்றது. Power should never be untied from accountable responsibility. If it is done so, then that is the most dangerous thing that will happen on earth. If this is going to continue, the Tamil Nadu people will reply befittingly in the upcoming elections. Well done. Thank you, sir. Very good.
श्री आलोक कुमार सुमन जी,
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय।
किसी का 1 मिनट बैठ जाइए।
मैं आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
आलोक जी 1 मिनट बैठ जाइए। आलोक जी बैठ जाइए।
सर, पॉइंट ऑफ ऑर्डर है, ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है सर।
किस सेक्शन में?
343, 343 और 345 संविधान की धारा। तमिल लैंग्वेज का या बंगाली लैंग्वेज का हम सम्मान करते हैं। तमिल सबसे ओल्डेस्ट लैंग्वेज है, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी बार बार कहते रहते हैं। लेकिन जब हम पूरे सभी यहाँ संसद सदस्य
संगमम भी हो रहा है,
हम सभी करें, तमिल काशी संगमम भी होता है सर। और बंगाल से तो हम खुद ही निकले, पता चल गया कि बिहार क्यों बंगाल से अलग हुआ, स्वागत बाबू के बातचीत से लगा। लेकिन सर, सी राजगोपालाचारी माउंटबेटन के बाद गवर्नर जनरल हुए 1950 तक, जब तक कि राजेंद्र बाबू राष्ट्रपति नहीं हो गए, सी राजगोपालाचारी इसी तमिलनाडु के आदमी ने किया। उन्होंने इस संविधान को बनाने में बड़ा योगदान दिया सर। वो ये कह रहा है कि लैंग्वेज 2 ही होगी कानून की, या तो देवनागरी हिंदी होगी या तो अंग्रेजी होगी, कोई दूसरा अधिकार ही केंद्र सरकार को नहीं दिया। तो ये बार बार इस तरह के लैंग्वेज के आधार पर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन करना, गाली देना, ये कहां से उचित है सर? और जो बातें उन्होंने कही है सुमति ने और स्वागत बाबू ने, दोनों को एक्सपंज करिए।